Throb never.
Racism doesn't exist, huh? I want to do a quick talk about the continued racism against American blacks. But one of the main issues is the situation in, what is it, San Francisco, at that restaurant, the Pika restaurant, where the black family went in and ordered food, and then when they get the receipt back, there's the racial slur on the receipt from the waiter or the restaurant personnel that took the family's order. And they come back out with a racial with a racial slur on the receipt. And so they asking them like, what is this? And, according to the reports, it's saying that the waiter said he didn't know how it got there. Supposedly they fired the waiter and all that. And, the restaurant owner is talking about how disappointed she is in the fact that he, did what he did on the receipt and to the customers. So to that point, and this is just one of many instances, I came across another situation where, who was it? It was I think the bowling family or something like that, where this black guy in Alabama or something. This is in the early 1900s. Black guy, last name of Bowling, basically became an entrepreneur and came up, and his family, he made his family pretty good money. But, the whites in the area got mad and killed him. And, his surviving daughter, who's still alive, she told the story of it. It's just these types of things that continue to go on and haven't been rectified. They continue happening. Nobody's really concerned with making sure that it stops. Like I said, with Rasheem Carter down around Alabama, Mississippi, wherever it was, him being murdered the way that he was, and still no justice. We still have the Sonia Massey issue. And we could talk for 30 years about this nonstop because it continues to happen daily, year after year, with no serious input from the government or action from the government to say, okay, this all needs to stop. And if you don't stop it, there's going to be dire consequences for your local area. So for people to say, racism doesn't exist, like that black politician, Tim, whatever his name is, talking about America's not a racist country. I see what he's saying, that, it's not as racist as it used to be. I don't know if that's what he's saying, but I'll give him a little leeway that, there are people who, they don't practice the racism the way that they used to, but it's still here. And we have too much proof to illustrate that it's still here. It happens daily, like I said. And then we have the whole Ann Coulter situation, which Ann Coulter, she's been voicing what she voiced recently. She's been voicing this her entire career about American blacks being the only ones who should be benefiting from civil rights, affirmative action, and being the only ones who should be receiving reparations. So this is kind of tripping some people out because they don't understand that there are white people who have the same understanding and ideology and who have, to some point tried to show some shame and acknowledgement of the wrongs and atrocities committed against American blacks in times past. It's not all white people who are blowing off, the terrorism and genocide committed by whites in times past. So for the immigrant population to hear someone else agree with what American blacks have been saying and what we're saying right now, I know it's coming as a shock to them because, first off, you don't really have, as an immigrant, you have no right to come to this country and tell an ethnic group that's been historically and systematically oppressed and mistreated that they shouldn't expect some type of reparation and restitution for the wrongs that were committed against them under a government that supported all the wrongdoing. So for you to come here and act that way towards an ethnic group, as I said in other posts of mine, that sheds light on who you are and what you view of the very people who've already had to deal with other people mistreating them. And then you come along as an addition to, the population, and you think you can step in the shoes and pick up where the other people who had done the wrong left off. That's how it's seeming. Like I said, Ann Coulter made it very clear that the immigrants coming here have no right to the benefits that were established for American blacks during Jim Crow, for segregation, for slavery, for all of the long list of things we can name that were confederately used against American blacks. No other immigrant groups actually have right to those benefits and privileges that were designed and passed specifically for American blacks, which were an ethnic group that were purposely being held down. And then you have the same immigrants who expect to receive those benefits at the same time say that there's no racism in America. And at the same time, want to benefit from the benefits that American blacks fought and died for. They want all of it, but they don't want American blacks to have any of it. So for the farming thing, the lawsuit that the black farmers had against the government, so that could only get passed if other ethnic groups were included in it. And the lawsuit wasn't filed on behalf of other ethnic groups. It was filed specifically on behalf of American black farmers who were done wrong by the government. So it's any time that American blacks are making a case, or stating a case for the correction of what was done to them, everybody else wants to latch on to it and benefit from it, and at the same time tell American blacks that you shouldn't benefit from it. Let me give you another example. And, I know this is AI, but I just, did a little test, and people have been doing these tests since AI came out. But I did a test on one of the AI platforms. And the question I posed was, should an ethnic group that brutalized another ethnic group in the past, should the descendants of the offending ethnic group feel shame for what their ancestors did to the ethnic group they mistreated? And so the AI program, basically going around and around and about, stated no, or no ethnic group's descendants should feel shame for what it did to another ethnic group, but they should acknowledge it and blah, blah, blah. So then I asked, well, if that's the case, should a specific country, and I won't mention the country, should a specific country feel shame for what it did to a specific ethnic group? And I'll let y'all figure it out. Should a specific country feel shame for what it did to a specific ethnic group at a certain time frame? And then it said yes. So, but then I was like, well, why should they feel shame for what they did to this ethnic group, but another country for another ethnic group shouldn't feel shame for what it did to this ethnic group? And I'll let y'all figure out which two ethnic groups I'm talking about. But my point is that even with this computer thing and the AI thing, there's bias being programmed into these systems. It's just nonstop. And people want to act like this isn't the case, but it is. Just continued bias in every which way and form. But the Ann Coulter thing, that was real interesting. And she even used the terms FBA and American Black. So people know what the deal is. And I've been hearing, a lot more white people coming around saying like, okay, yeah, see, we thought that y'all were talking about giving reparations to every black person here in the country. But if it's just for American blacks, then that makes more sense. So they're coming around and understanding, exactly how it's supposed to go. But I definitely wanted to touch on that with Ann Coulter and that Pika Pika restaurant situation with, leaving a racial slur on the receipt. And this is just another word and warning to American blacks, like, stop eating at these places, man. Because, we don't know what they doing to the food, none of that. So if we're still experiencing these types of things in public places, just stop supporting them. Stop going. Stop eating at any of these places because, they don't want you there. So don't go. But I just wanted to touch on that. I'm out.
Heart throb never.